This presentation will be about TV development in China by Brianna Brown, Global Media Final Presentation. The start. Chinese TV broadcasting started in 1958, May 1st to be exact, with three stations created in the first year alone. On broadcasting day, there was only one channel which was shown in black and white. The three known stations that were created were called Beijing or Central China Television, Shanghai Television, and Harbin Television as well. In the 1950s, the Beijing area with one channel broadcasted 4 times a week for about 2 to 3 hours each day. The channel showed news, documentary films, and light entertainment programs, which kind of showed a lot about the cultural and traditional aspects of the Chinese culture. Staff on the production and transmission side of the industry was about 60 members for Beijing Television. There were only 30 television sets in the Beijing area that were recorded during this time as well. However, in the early 1960s, the start of the TV industry came to a rough start during the Chinese economic crisis with poor fairings. A large number of stations were forced to close due to the crisis. Only 5 stations remained during this time, which includes well-known broadcasting stations like Beijing and Shanghai Television. However, as time progressed, by the 1970s, Chinese government decided to develop the color television. Still during this time, very few families were able to afford a TV set in their homes. Many people would gather in factories and other places to watch aired programs. An example of those public gatherings are like here in this photo, where a large community or family members come together to watch TV on one tiny little television, which is right here in this corner. But back to business. Due to the economic reform, by the early 1980s, the Chinese television industry became a dominant medium in the market. TV shows in the 80s in China included many creative and diverse programs, such as a famous show known as Journey to the West. And because they're very creative, but they're also showing a lot of Chinese cultural aspects that is kind of included into the show. So it's like traditional but also creative and new. An example of the Journey to the West is with the theme song, which is presented here. And of course, as time progressed, because of shows like Journey to the West and the influence that it had greatly on Chinese television, a lot of TV shows today in China in the early 2000s and mid 2000s that we are in, 2010s, a lot of the TV shows still show a lot of the cultural aspects of the Chinese, and also new school TV dramas as well that show modernized dramas that we kind of see today as well. An example, or just a different complication of new shows that you would typically see shown on Chinese television. As you can see, as it was shown, that there were some shows with cultural traditional outfits, and there are some shows that were more modern dramas that you would see on Chinese television. But as time progresses, a lot of Chinese culture and TV will also continue to develop and change as well. Thank you, and here are the sources used.